know, we have something special, and it's already given away, and Don's here, and he happened to win just a little contest. But, if you don't know, he is trying to start his own business, and he's actually been thinking about this and pursuing this for about a year now. So if you don't know about this, I guess I'm going to spill the beans. So one thing that I wanted to help him out with is help his technology profile and online presence. The biggest thing for me that I like to give to him is LinkedIn recommendations. But for those that may not be on social media or be comfortable with that, don't worry, I didn't leave you out. So, to give a good recommendation though, kind of want to know what he's about. So he wants to be a paid public speaker. He wants to embody a modern voice of Mark Twain. Not just Mark Twain and speak as Mark Twain and do Mark Twain readings, but what would be the modern day voice of Mark Twain? If Mark Twain lived today, what would he talk about? What would he joke about? What would he write about? And so he wants to do Mark Twain Speaks again. Bring Mark Twain back to life. So this is a good foundation on how to kind of think of him, why you would recommend him, in what context would you recommend him. Okay? So, best practices, obviously are going to be speaking from the heart. One thing that I know that a lot of people have issue with is, well, when do I have time to write a recommendation, right? Well, guess what? You've got 5 minutes right now while I'm speaking and the rest of the hour. So I'm going to put everybody to work. So take the back of your agenda. Sure, if no one has an agenda, let me know and I can make sure to take the back of your agenda, take the nice pen. And there are some things that I want you to think about throughout the rest of the meeting. First of all, how long have you known him? If you haven't known him very long, don't discount that. That actually can speak volumes just as much as those of us who may have known him for years now. Because if he's already impacted you in such a short time, that recommendation can be very, very powerful. Okay? So next, what do you enjoy listening to? Listening when he speaks, listening about just stories. It doesn't have to be in his Mark Twain presence. It could just be overall when we're sitting around for coffee. What do you enjoy being around Don? And if at all possible, think of a specific story. When you think of Don, what do you think in your head? Do you think about the first time you came to Toastmasters and it happened to be when Don was speaking and he was in Mark Twain and you're like, what is going on? What did I come into? What did that bring out? But more specifically, what did that inspire you to do? Or what impression did that leave with you? Stories are very, very powerful, so if you can somehow find a way to wrap a story into your recommendation, it's going to give that extra oomph, which is fantastic, and what we're looking for. It'll also speak well to, as Mark Twain is, a storyteller. So, I like the online presence. And the reason for that is it's going to give us a different audience. People like to Google things. You know me, I like to Google things. But this gives us a different exposure. You know, we all have our own friends and family, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this actually gives it to a wider audience. Typically locally, not if you're using Google, because it likes to do local Google searches. The biggest place I like is LinkedIn. For those that aren't familiar with LinkedIn, it's a professional social networking avenue. Less Facebook. Facebook is more personal, you can be goofy, but LinkedIn is more of a professional face. And that's why I wanted to focus on LinkedIn for those I'm giving recommendations. It already has a form available to give recommendations very easily. And that's why I wanted you guys to go ahead and write it down now. Start formulating those ideas. So once you get home, you can just sign into your LinkedIn account if you have it, and link in with Don if you have not already, or if I haven't done it for him. And give him that recommendation based on speaking. It can be for Mark Twain specifically, or it can be a very generic term. It's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Next, for those that like to do Twitter, if you're not comfortable with a longer recommendation, it's fine. If you just want to give him a shout out on Twitter, those that use Twitter on a regular basis typically have a lot of followers, and you'd be surprised what people have. So his handle is Mark Twain Speaks. If you don't know, so hashtag Mark Twain Speaks or @ Mark Twain Speaks. That will tag him, and so that may help bring out a little extra followers for him. Next is Meetup, and that seems like a strange way, I know, to do a recommendation, but he is on Meetup, and he will probably be utilizing that when he wants to do speaking gigs. So if you have any kind of recommendations, that say, hey, you know, he's a great speaker, you really should have him for your dinner party or your holiday party, or just speaking to a bunch of libraries locally at a school, this would be a good idea for that as well. Okay. YouTube, everybody wants to be viral. I can't guarantee having him go viral, but it would definitely help with comments on his YouTube page, which is also Mark Twain Speaks Again. So you can search for him on YouTube. Check out, we're going to try to post up his speech, not just his Mark Twain impressions, but also his contest speech once I get that in as well. And then Gig Masters. I'm very new to Gig Masters. I don't have to hire any kind of audience, but for those that may need, that have the need to hire extra help outside for speeches, for music venues, any kind of venues, if you know someone like that, they're probably on Gig Masters. If you're comfortable with it, that'd be fantastic to do a recommendation form on there. If not, just pass his name along if you know someone who has avenue for speaking. Okay. For those that may look at me and I don't really do online, I like more of a personal thing, fantastic. There's also avenues to talk about Don. So social clubs, not just this one. My roommate's a Mason, so if you're in the Masons, that's fantastic. Business organizations, senior living homes especially are very fun for Don. Volunteer organizations. And the keywords that I want to say just to think about is if you're in any kind of venue where they're like, you know, we really need a heart of the day party, we need some kind of entertainment, think of Don. It's very low key, it's going to be family friendly, it's going to appeal to everyone. Even those that may not be historical minded, it's going to be super entertaining. So don't discount what you think they want or not want, just put it out there. And what's nice is if you have that recommendation in the back of your head of what you thought, that will help bring extra emphasis when you give him suggestions. Okay. So if you want to help this nice gentleman out, as surprised as he may be for winning, he would greatly appreciate your support in helping him build his speaking business. Thank you.